So, how do we stereotype men? According to healthguidance.org, they're strong, they're the one in charge, they don't cook, they don't take care of kids, they don't cry. Well, today I'm going to demonstrate you what a big problem is stereotyping a man. There is a big problem and what causes the big problem. And also, I want to tell you the solution to fix this big issue. When we hear domestic violence, the first thing that comes into our minds is a man hitting a woman. Well, according to theguardian.com, on a research of 2010, 40% of the domestic violence victims were men. That means one of you three could be a victim of domestic violence. Domestic violence statistics.org also says that 63% of men, opposed to 15% of females, had a deadly weapon used against them by the intimate partner. That's a big difference, 63%. The big problem is that men doesn't speak up. They don't say anything. Why? Because of the same stereotype. They're afraid they're going to say something, they're going to laugh about him, they're embarrassed. What the people are going to say, what their own family or kids are going to say about them, especially the guy friends. Another big problem is that the media doesn't focus on men that much. It only focuses on women. When I was doing this research, all I see is pictures of women everywhere, not a single man. In order to, what causes this big problem? Well, that the government, according to domesticviolencestatistics.org, they spend too much money on advertising women being abused. They spend a lot of money on shelters for women. There's only a few for men. Another thing that causes this big issue is that the law enforcement is very hard to believe a man. When a man calls 911 and says that he's being abused by the woman, they laugh because they think they're strong enough to be hit or to be abused. Another thing is that men think that only physical abuse is just the type of domestic violence. Well, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, not only physical or sexual is abuse, it's also emotional, economically, and psychological. Jean Siegel, a PhD graduate, and Melinda Smith with a master's degree, says on a 2013 article that there's other signs of being abusive, of being in an abusive relationship. For example, withholding money, credit cards, telling you what to do, where to go, checking your calls, even your emails. Another thing is that an abusive woman constantly tells you that you've been unfaithful, that you are not good enough, that you are just just making up stories about you with your family, with your friends. That's also abusing. Knowing the problems and what causes the problems, we think that we should know what to do in case if you've been abused, you men. One of the things is to be aware of the signs of the domestic violence. According to helpguide.org, they explain that not only physical assaulted, not because you're not a physical assaulted, that doesn't mean that you're not abused. We should fix this problem by taking care of ourselves and speaking up, pushing the government to invest more money on men. As we all know, women have all this help, all these programs. When I went to Weave, the website, when I visited the website, all I see is women. Yes, they help men, but you can hardly know that they do. Because as you know, and I already explained, there is a big problem of domestic violence in men. We already know what causes the problems and what should we do to fix that big problem. Because it could be you, it could be your brother, or it could be your son in the future.